Hi, it's Andy.
Hi, it's Dave.
Hi, it's Kirk.
Okay, so before we kick into today's reaction, just a big thank you to the Club 85 team for allowing us to use their facilities for our studio. We've taken it over and we are greatly appreciative of that.
We're taking over this town.
We are taking over this town. Today we're checking out a band called the Hellfreaks on Napalm Records and Hit Me Where It Hurts. Bit of a cheesy song title, I have to be honest. That's it's not the best song title. Mind you, the Hellfreaks.
It's on Napalm Records.
We've never heard them.
I don't even know they are.
But then a load of bands that we do kind of like can be on Napalm Records.
Ginger.
So,
Ginger on Napalm Records.
I think let's just get straight into it because I think we've got no anticipations whatsoever apart from the song title is not a great song title.
And the name of the band is shit as well.
The Hellfreaks, yeah, it's.
But hey, blow us away.
Go on, let's go see what happens.
Kirk's turning to get slated in the comments by the sounds of it. We haven't even seen it yet.
Do you know, it must have been the one video. You've been quiet, so you're okay. We're going to get destroyed for this. Okay, let's go check out the Hellfreaks.
Napalm Records.
Really weird guitar effect. It's a weird effect.
What the fuck is that?
I think it's like a pitch shifter and a whammy, or...
Oh no, she's already done the new metal cliche of the sideways pose. Sideways head. Like Gaelic folk music, but the melody. Oh, they're ramping it up a bit now, aren't they? Is it me? Does she look like Billie Eilish as well in that shot?
I don't know who Billie Eilish is.
Are you taking the piss?
Yes.
It's Billie Eilish. She's been watching her cold chamber videos, hasn't she? I'm getting Infected Rain vibes here. They're on Napalm Records.
Yeah, I can see where you're going with that.
By the way, that means that Andy disagrees with me. Yeah, I can see where you're going with that after a pause of 5 seconds. And the fact that I told you Andy instead of Dave as well.
Okay, right. So, I forgot what they're called. The Hellfreaks. Yes,
the Hellfreaks.
Hit me where it hurts. Sorry, that's embarrassing. I can't remember what they just called. What we just looked at. Oh, I don't know where I sit on this. I'm really.
You start it off then.
So this is one of those ones. Like, if we were scoring this out of 10, this song would sit as a 5 out of 10 for me. And the reason being, there are elements of it I really like, and then there are elements of it that I'm really not keen on. If I talk about it just on the musical elements, I was probably the same as you when we heard that really weird guitar effect with the whammy pitch shifter going off at the beginning with the.
It sounded like Gaelic folk music fed through a guitar.
But I didn't mind it near the end. I had become accustomed to it, if you know what I mean. But it caught me off guard. I'll come back to the video in a second. We'll dissect the video. But as far as the song, I actually didn't mind it. I liked the fact that it changes up. I liked the fact it went in some different pacing, different tempos, etc. It's the band that Elysian Divide want to be, in my opinion.
Do you think?
Yeah, I mean, she sings like the girl out of Elysian Divide. They have the same tempo. They have the same attitude. It's what Elysian Divide want to be.
I think Elysian Divide have better guitar riffs, but we'll not go into that.
Yeah, we won't talk about Elysian Divide anymore.
We like them. We like it. By the way, Elysian Divide are a Hertfordshire band.
They are. Elysian Divide have got different sort of songs, but if you imagine their songs like The Beast and stuff like that jumping around, that poppy element, there's elements of that, the screaming, especially when you went into there, that definitely reminds me of what Elysian Divide do with vocally. So there were definitely elements like that I really liked. It's not a standout track for me. It's not got enough elements that I really like in music for me to kind of want to buy it, but it's a song that I could have on and wouldn't kind of switch over, if you know what I mean. Video wise, now we've talked about videos about bands playing with their instruments in the video. Now they did the mortal sin. That one, they actually bothered to plug a cable into their frigging guitars and put the longest cable I've ever seen run into the back of the warehouse somewhere. There was no amp in bloody sight. If you're gonna do it, put a bloody amp. You've got a whole warehouse to play with. Put some amps in there. Make it at least look like you're putting some effort into it. Don't sit there and plug a long cable in and run it to the side somewhere. And especially when you can see the side. Now I did this with Before the Sirens, with their music video. We plugged cables in, but we ran the cable round to the edges. So they went off camera. They left the camera so you could actually see the cable coiled up further up the back somewhere. So yeah, I'm sorry, I've got to pick it apart from there. And there was very much, it's an empty warehouse playing in it. I hate those videos. I'm getting to the point where I'm sick and tired of, there's no imagination put into it. I just found that it didn't tell me any story about Hit Me Where It Hurts. What's that video got to do with it? Musically though, didn't mind it too much. It's not going to set me on the world on fire for me, unfortunately, but I did like her voice. I thought she had a nice voice. Let's go to you next, Kirk.
Yeah, so Napalm Records does have the likes of Ginger and Bloodbath and Vexed and some of my favourite bands, but there is a tendency for them to be chasing the next big thing and the new metal revival. I reviewed an album by an artist called League of Distortion leading up to Christmas, German band, female singer, some good ideas, but new metal really, wasn't it? Watered down. Same with this song. I felt the guitarists were trying to break through. They wanted to play heavier and more technical, but clearly she's the standout and she's the face of the band and the vocals are very high in the mix and it's all about her personality, and that does dilute the quality of the metal for me. At least if new metal is going to come back, you know, they're not coming back with those hip hop and rap elements, which I grew tired of.
Don't say that. You know it's coming. It will happen.
I grew tired of. I don't say I detested, because, you know, it did have quite a positive impact for a while, but there were so many cliches in that. I mean, the sideways head pose, we were laughing at that, weren't we? That is the ultimate new metal cliche. I was confused by it. I was puzzled. Did it want to be heavy? There were a few moments, even accelerating in the pre-chorus, and you're like, oh, okay, listen to the chugs in the background, the drums, putting in some aggressive fills, and it just doesn't go anywhere. One thing I will compliment them on, though, it wasn't a predictable song, was it, in terms of the structure?
No.
There was a clear chorus in it, but there were quite a few surprises in there as well. Expect to see more bands like this on Napalm Records. They really like everyone hates the term, female-fronted metal bands. But when you're playing new metal revivalism like this with a bit of a metalcore edge, you're going to struggle to get my attention. And this, like you, I would say 5 out of 10. I'll probably review the album if I do, and the songs are like this. It's going to be okay. It's not going to be anything that's going to dazzle me, unfortunately.
Andy?
I have got nothing to compare it to in the way of bands because I don't listen to this, but I agree with you entirely, David. I did note down Atashi from A Listen Divide in vocal style and her performance and her attitude. There's similarities in the music as well. That effect on the guitar was distracting from the beginning and throughout, and I can't even remember the guitarist because I was like, just it blocked what I was listening to be honest. I mean, I know it wasn't constant throughout, but I can't remember what the guitars were. They weren't particularly heavy. They weren't particularly high in the mix. For me, it was the drumming was what was high in the mix and was what impressed me. The video, again, I think, as you said, Dave, we've seen it before. Nothing memorable about that. In as much as I can't even remember what it was, whether they did have amps, whether they did have leads, whether they did commit that card.
Because they were in a warehouse.
But nothing sort of very special for me. I mean, I did like the aggressive vocals, the roar at the end of the verse for, oh, this will be good. And then she didn't quite carry it through that aggressively. It kind of, it was more aggressive than the verse, but it wasn't as powerful as what it perhaps could have been and what it perhaps it should have been.
I mean, what can you act right other than that strange guitar effect where the guitarist thinks he's in the Prodigy all of a sudden? What else can you remember in that song? What can you
just the
recall
up tempo beat and her kind of moving around, which as soon as I saw that,
the roar,
okay,
yeah.
And the fact that perhaps she didn't take that further into the chorus, and it kind of wasn't. It was more aggressive than the verse, but.
I just can't recall any of the guitars.
It wasn't really hooky. There was lots of riffs that they were putting in there that should have been hooky.
We've heard some memorable guitar riffs and music tonight, but that wasn't one of them.
But that just shows you the limitations of a reaction video, because the whole point is you listen to it once and you're not going to pick up on everything. So we might listen to that 3 times and then you'll start to hear those things that were missing the first time. So we're just giving an instant reaction, aren't we?
There are times, I mean, I've done video reactions before where the mic didn't work properly or whatever, and I've had to go back and re-record it. And I'd always say, just to let you know that this is my second time listening to it because of it. And actually what's been beneficial is because I've got rid of the shock factor of certain elements.
Yeah.
I was able to appreciate the song in more detail the second time. I was able to give a more concise.
Yeah.
But the idea of a reaction is it's your first gut feeling.
Yeah, it's
what's your
instinctive.
first instinct. And my instinct here is there is something interesting there, but not enough. If you were to say that you've got one choice of the bands we had today, would you go and check this band out again? At the moment, I'd have to say no. But we've done that before. We did Love Bites, and we did Love Bites, 2 months ago, and we didn't appreciate the first time we saw it. We did a new song that came out a couple of weeks ago, and we did that today, and we had a completely different polarized opinion on it. So one song doesn't always make it the right opinion about a band. So I'm sure we will definitely check out. And if people have got in the comments down below some songs that they recommend we should check out of the Hellfreaks, we will definitely do that, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the Napalm Records, should put them on a bill with Infected Rain. That'd probably go across well. And just one more thing. We were looking at the video from Anchor. You could put them on the same stage with them. They're very radically different, but they could still share a stage.
Similar.
Yeah, I mean, these are the ones in the ascendancy, though. They've signed to Napalm Records.
There we go. Well, there we go. That was the Hellfreaks. And if you liked this video, please do like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you on another video sometime very soon. Take care.